Hello. Hopefully, folks can see me or hear me. Let's see. Hello. Hopefully, folks can see me or hear me. Let's see. Hello. Hopefully, folks can see me. Let's see. Hello. Okay. I am using a new system this evening. So we are going to see how it goes. Please let me know if you can hear me. There's always little glitches in the system. So welcome to tonight's live Q&A coaching call. My name is Heather Evans. I am a self-care and empowerment coach with the Inner Fire. I coach women around the world in terms of transforming their life through the power of self-care. And so I host these live Q&A coaching sessions once a month, typically on the last Tuesday of the month. And if you have questions, please feel free to type them into the chat box. I did receive some questions that were sent to me prior to this call taking place. So if you all are all right with it, let's dig in. I have two questions that were sent in. Let me pull up my notes here. So Claire, the first question is from Claire. Claire, thank you so much for sending your question in. And I'm just double checking to make sure that, that the feed is going okay. I'm just gonna double check my chat. Okay, things seem to be going well. All right, so Claire, let's get into your question. You wrote, I try to start healthy habits, but I can't seem to keep them going. It's like I'm addicted to self-sabotage. For example, I set a goal to go to the gym 4 days a week, but after the first week, I just lost steam. I know I need to lose weight, but I can't stay motivated. What do you recommend I do? Claire, thank you for sending in your question. And I know that, starting healthy habits for anybody can feel a little overwhelming. But we can also feel super motivated at the beginning, right? We know that there's a change that we want to make, and we know that there are things that we want to make happen. And so we get super fired up in the beginning, and we're really eager, and we jump into the deep end of the pool, and you set this amazing goal of going to the gym 4 days a week because, as you said, you're feeling like you need to lose some weight. So a couple questions I would want to ask you is, let's talk about why you want to lose weight. I'd want to know what some of the goals are that you have around your weight loss, what's motivating you to lose some weight. Is it for your overall health and well-being? Is it for other reasons? And then let's talk about the gym. So why are we going to the gym? Is the gym the place that we need to be going to amplify our weight loss? Are there other things that you're doing to support your goal around weight loss, including, your nutrition, your mental and emotional well-being? Are those things being factored into how you're feeling about your weight loss and the approach that you're taking? But in relation to setting goals and self-sabotage. So as I said, we get super excited in the beginning, and then we make these goals, and the minute we don't reach one of those goals, we can give up, or we can view it as self-sabotage, right? So here's a couple of things. When we are setting goals to make a transformation or a transition in our life, we want to set goals that are both motivating but also realistic. So if the first week you make it to the gym 4 days a week, you're feeling awesome, but then something happens in the second week, and for whatever reason, you weren't able to make it to the gym 4 days a week. What I want you to do, Claire, is I want you to take a look at your first week and your second week, and I want you to look at all of the things that were happening in your life. So during the first week, you had time to make it to the gym 4 days a week. Your schedule was allowing for that. You put it into your calendar, maybe. You committed. Maybe you had an accountability partner that you were checking in with. What changed in the second week? Did you have a lot of other things that were going on? Were there schedule changes that happened last minute that didn't enable you to get to the gym? Were you sick? Were there other things going on? So what happened between week 1 and week 2? Did something happen mentally, emotionally? Were you feeling a little tired? And then what I want you to do is when you would look at week 3, knowing what happened during week 1, knowing what happened during week 2, what is realistic for week 3? So maybe getting to the gym 4 days a week was actually a super high goal that you had. And you put that out there and you're like, yeah, I totally want to make it to the gym 4 days a week. And maybe that can happen. Maybe week 2 is a more realistic example of what happens on a week-to-week basis. Maybe there is a bit more going on. Maybe your schedule won't allow for 4 days a week. Maybe mentally and emotionally, 4 days a week isn't actually supportive for your system, but 3 days a week might be. Maybe it's 2. Maybe you go to the gym 3 days a week, but you take a walk outside on a 4th day. What we can do with the goals that we create or the activities that we engage in to reach our goals is we can invite some fluidity into them. Because what happens when we get really rigid about the 4 days a week, the minute we don't do that, the minute we don't meet that 4-day-a-week expectation, we can feel that self-sabotage come in. And then when we feel like we're self-sabotaging, then we may just give up altogether. And Claire, I know that you don't want to give up. I know that you actually want to achieve this goal, and I know that you want to pay attention to your health and to your well-being. And one of the ways you're doing that is by taking a look at your weight loss and feeling like that's something that you want to focus on. And so what's happening between week 1, week 2? Is it mindset? Is it schedule? Did something just come up and you weren't able to do it? Do you need to create a little bit of flexibility? Like I said, maybe it's the gym 3 days a week, a walk the 4th day, maybe you go to the pool the 4th day. Maybe the 4th day of activity is open for interpretation. Maybe you go to a yoga class or maybe you take that walk, or maybe you do something completely different, go for a bike ride. Yeah. So notice when the rigidity around the activity starts to get in the way of you achieving your goals. If that's happening, then it's time for a little shift. It's time for a little tweaking to how we make these things happen. So again, a couple things I want to know: your motivation for the weight loss, why the gym. Is that a comfortable place for you to go? Is someplace else a better support for your system? Do you love going to the gym? Do you dread going to the gym? And then what's happening in your life? And can your life sustain and support 4 days a week at the gym? Or maybe the activity looks a little different. So Claire, I hope that helps, and recognize that you're not actually engaging in self-sabotage. It's just maybe 4 days a week actually isn't sustainable for your schedule, for your life at this moment. So we just tweak it. We just make a change so that we can find the right combination of movement and days and times that work for you. So Claire, thank you for asking your question. Again, I hope that this was helpful. I appreciate you bringing this to the Q&A coaching session. And yeah, I'd love to hear back from you. So email me again, let me know what you think. And if you want to talk through this a little bit more, if you want to get into it, you can always schedule your free 50-minute empowerment session with me. That's you and me one-on-one, talking about some of these goals that you have for your life. And we can actually find that solution and dig into some of the reasons why that 4 days a week might not be working for you. But more importantly, find a solution that will. Okay, so I hope that you have a great night. Thanks again, Claire. I'm just going to check the dashboard really quick. See, Denise, we are always so much harder on ourselves. I agree, Denise. It is so true. Okay. Let's see. So the second question came from Katie. Katie, thank you so much for writing in. And I think that, your question is something that a lot of us actually deal with. And so I'm really happy that you are asking this question. And this question is related to a career transition. So anybody who's going through a career transition or is looking for a new job, stay tuned. This is an important one. Katie says, I'm about to lose my job due to a reorganization in my company. There are 2 positions I'm being considered for with other companies, but I don't want to let the other people know about the offers I'm considering. So I'm assuming you're meaning you don't want to let the 2 other companies know about the other one. What do you recommend I do? Yeah, so when we are in the position where we're transitioning out of one company and we're applying for new positions, and all of a sudden you find yourself in the awesome place of being considered for 2 other jobs, the question is, do you let these 2 companies know about the other one? My philosophy is, if it comes up, so if you get an offer from a company, but let's say you want to see if the other company is going to offer you a position, you may want to be upfront and honest with the first company and say, thank you so much for the offer. Just to let you know, I'm actually considering another offer from another company. And then you can ask for the amount of time that you want to consider the offer. If they are on a specific timeline, you might not have that flexibility, and they might say, we need to know within the next 24 hours. And then you can negotiate from there. But I do think honesty is the best policy. So if you're getting offers from these 2 companies and you need some time to consider and decide which one is more aligned with your values, with your truth, with the type of work that you want to be doing as you move forward, then I think it's important to acknowledge that, because we want to make sure that whatever decision you're making about the job that you're taking aligns with who you are. And the company that you say yes to, they'll appreciate your honesty. They'll appreciate the fact that you've been open with them. You know what? I'm considering 2 offers right now, one from you, one from another company. I need some time to really assess how I'm feeling about them both, and I'll get back to you in a certain amount of time. If you know deep down in your gut that one of these companies is for you and they offer you the position first, obviously you can say yes, and then you let the other company know, I received another offer from another company. Thank you so much for the opportunity and for the consideration. I'm going to move forward with this other company. So I think it's a bit situational, and I think it depends on if the offer comes. Most importantly here though, Katie, I want you choosing the path that aligns most with who you are, what your truth is, and what's best for you in your life at this moment. So as you're considering these different organizations, think about their culture, think about their values, think about the team you might be working with. Are all of these things aligned with who you are? Is their mission aligned? Is the type of work that they're doing aligned? Does the environment speak to you? All of these, I think, are factors that we tend to leave out of the equation. And I did a recent video on getting clear on our core personal values, but when we get clear on our core personal values, it actually makes the decision-making process and being honest in that process really easy. It actually doesn't take a lot of thought, because we're able to easily assess, oh yes, this is aligned and this is a yes, or this isn't aligned and so it's a no. So take all of that into consideration, Katie, when you're looking at these 2 offers. And I want to say, I think it's incredible that you're phasing out of a job right now, but you already have these 2 places that are looking at you and seriously considering you. I think that that's a testament to to who you are. So congratulations. And I hope that you have all the luck as you're making your decision. And remember, again, honesty is the best policy here. And the company will appreciate that honesty. And they'll appreciate that you're taking time to consider and that you're taking time to ensure that you're the best fit for them so that they can be the best fit for you. So thank you, Katie, for asking your question. I appreciate it. Denise, I appreciate that feedback. We need to be flexible with ourselves. It's true. And one of the ways that we can be flexible with ourselves is by getting clear with our values, yeah? Yes, we can be flexible, but we have the ability to be flexible when we're aligned here in ourselves. Because the flexibility is coming from a place of core, and we're not being flexible because we're being pushed from other people or from other directions or by other people's agendas. Instead, we're listening and we're tuning into ourselves, tuning into our own agenda, making sure that it's aligned with our truth. So Denise, thank you for adding that to the conversation. All right, everybody, those were the 2 questions I had received via email. And if you have a question that you'd like answered, you can always insert it into the chat. Just so you know about a couple of things coming up. One is that I will be releasing a new video on Thursday. It's part 1 of a 3-part series that I'm doing on burnout. The first video that's going to be released this Thursday is about the epidemic of burnout that's impacting all of us today. The second video to be released next Thursday is about preventing burnout. And then the third video released the Thursday after that will be on how to recover from burnout if you find yourself in that state. I think that this conversation about burnout is a particularly important one. And I think we need to be paying a lot of attention to the prevention of burnout. And so that's where a lot of the work I'm doing stems from. It comes from this idea that we actually don't have to move into a state of burnout in order to achieve the goals we have for our life. That by being aligned, by implementing self-care strategies every single day, by becoming empowered through self-care, through self-love, through acknowledging our truth, we actually can step forward in our power from a centered place, not from one where we're feeling depleted or not from one where we're reading somebody else's script, not one where we're allowing someone else to set the agenda for us. Rather, we're setting our own agenda from an empowered, compassionate place, a place of love for ourselves. So that's one thing that's coming up. The second thing that I want to tell you about is that if you have not yet joined it, I'd love for you to be a part of my VIP Facebook group, Ignite. It's for confident and courageous women soul. Of my YouTube channel, you know that I define soulpreneur as people who are following their path of purpose. It doesn't mean that you're an entrepreneur. It doesn't mean that you've started your own business. You can, but it also means maybe you're working for somebody else, but you're completely aligned with your values. You're doing the thing that lights you up. Maybe you're transitioning into that space of doing something that lights you up and you want to follow that path forward. So I'd love for you to join us, and I'll include a link for that in the comments for this video. Again, that's a VIP Facebook group for women soulpreneurs. Again, it's called Ignite. And there's a lot of conversation in there, discussion. There are special events for Ignite members. So I hope that you'll join us there. I'm going to check to see if we've got, oh, hi Denise. I'm in the beginning stages of starting my business and trying to focus on what to do next to grow it. So much newness makes it very stressful. Yes. So Denise, fantastic question. And it's not really a question, you actually put it more as a statement. But when we are starting new businesses, new ventures, a lot can feel overwhelming. You're learning new systems, new programs. Maybe you're learning new ways of tracking your finances. Maybe you're learning new methods, or you're studying things that you can apply to your business. So there can be a lot of information overload, Denise. And as somebody who has started two businesses, I get that. I get that information overload. And what I'd encourage you to do is think about the reason you're starting your business. So I want you to come back to the core of why, because our why can get lost as we're launching the business, right? We get so invested in how this is all going to manifest that we kind of forget the why. So first things first, I'd invite you to come back to your why. Why did you start your business in the first place? And what is your business? You should share that with all of us. That way we can check you out, Denise. But why did you start the business in the first place? How was it aligned with your values and your personal mission? And keep that front and center, because on those days where all of this newness, all of this information is coming in, you're going to want to come back to that why. The second thing that I would say is, there's a saying out there that done is better than perfect. So hopefully you're familiar with this, and we can feel like we want to make everything perfect. Yeah. Like we want to get it all right away. And the fact of the matter is sometimes it just needs to be done. I've worked with clients who say, well, I can't launch my business until the website is fully complete. And, I'll say to them, let's just get the homepage up, but you can actually be doing your work minus a website for a little while. So what are some things that might be in that you're wanting it to be perfect before you're moving forward? I'd also say, remember, Denise, we don't have to be an expert in every aspect of our business. That, one of the best things that I've done for my business is know where I'm interested, know what I want to learn, know what I want to invest in, know what I want to engage in. And by the way, that's being of service to people. That's connecting with my clients. That's doing the coaching work, doing the movement work. And the rest of it, I ask lots of questions and I get lots of help. I ask other people who are experts and who enjoy doing these things to take some of those things on. It doesn't mean that I've, automated everything, and it certainly doesn't mean that I've hired anyone. I'm still a team of one. But when it comes to things like a website update, I'll have my web designer do that because I don't necessarily have the time or the capacity. I love that. So are you a team of one right now? Are you doing all of this work on your own? And what does your work look like right now? Are you getting the word out? Are you in a marketing phase right now? Are you in concept and development? Are you in program development? So I'd be curious about what. Yes, you are, just you. Yeah, it's a lot. But all of the newness does make it stressful. But here's the other thing. And Denise, I hope you understand where I'm coming from here. When we say the newness is stressful, oh, Denise, my sound keeps going off. I am not sure how to fix that right now. Thank you for letting me know. I'm not 100% sure. I'm using a new system. So this is all new tonight. We'll have to see. Thank you for letting me know, though. You know, when it comes to when we're attaching that label to tether it to anything new that we might need to learn. Necessarily have to be that you need to learn. We can unintentionally create stress by attaching that state to the thing that we're working on. And I was actually just talking to a client about this today. We were talking about, she's going into a big project. And she was saying that she's going to have some really stressful days up ahead. To have busy days. So we know that there are days will be very full, but we don't know if it's going to be stressful. And so we worked on peeling back that label of stressful and simply looking at the reality, the truth of it, which is, yeah, you have some days with really packed schedule. Busy on those days. So can we look at these new things, Denise? Can we look at the new things that are happening for you? And can we maybe attach truth as opposed to an emotional charge to them? I hope that this is making sense. I hope that my sound is on enough. And this can be applied to anything in our lives, yeah? We can choose to attach an emotional charge to it, or we can choose to not. We can actually choose to deal with what's right in front of us, the reality of it, versus creating an emotional charge or creating an idea about something that hasn't actually happened yet. Because when we put that energy out there, when we say, oh, my day's going to be stressful, when we first wake up in the morning, guess what? Your day will most likely be stressful. When we don't know that yet. We don't know if the day is going to be stressful. So can we approach these new things that you're doing, Denise, and look at it as, oh, I'm learning this new thing. The end. We don't know if it's going to be hard. We don't know if it's going to be stressful. We don't know if it's going to be joyful or fun, or maybe you can get some play going on in there with this new thing. So can we allow for a different state to emerge around the newness? And maybe shift the mindset around the newness and inviting newness as learning opportunity, as growth, as something cool that you get to explore, as a new skill you get to acquire. And sometimes easier said than done, so I want to acknowledge that. But it's just an invitation to start to shift the thinking and to start to shift the emotional charge around starting a new business. So, Denise, I hope that's helpful. Your biggest stress is getting the clients. Yeah. And getting clients can also be a lot of fun because, Denise, I'm sure that you know that magic when you're working with somebody and it's all clicking and you're like, oh, yes, this person and I were connecting. This is the type of person I want to be working with all the time. These are the loved ones that I want to be working with all the time. So how did you make that connection? How did that client come to you? Making sure that you're getting testimonials and referrals, making sure that you have, one of my biggest tips, um, making sure that you have a little journal that you keep nearby. I call this an evidence journal, that anytime you have a client that's aligned with what it is you're doing and you love working with them, you write it down. And maybe you take some notes. This is how they came to me. Here's their testimonial. This was their experience. These were the things that worked. And getting clients as a new business, yeah, it takes a lot of work, but it can also be a lot of fun. So I'd love to hear more, Denise, and maybe what we can do is schedule an empowerment session for you. Again, I'm going to include that link in the comments, and we can talk about you getting clients and why it's stressful for you right now. And when we talk about different aspects, especially if we're new business owners, I fully and you've heard me say this before, Denise, but we're fully integrated people. And so when we're in the process of acquiring clients, I'm also wondering what else is going on in your world, right? What's going on with your relationships? Do you have the support you need? How are you nourishing yourself? How are you taking time for fun? So I'd want to know all of that, because all of that is integrated into how are you acquiring your clients? How are you marketing? How are you showing up for your clients? How are you showing up in your messaging? So let's spend some time together, Denise. I'd love to hear more from you and provide any support I possibly can. Oh, thank you so much, Denise. Oh, I believe we came together for a reason as well. And I hope that the sound comes through on the replay as well. So my apologies to everybody who's watching if the sound isn't coming through for you as well, or if it's been coming in and out. Okay, everybody. So with that, Denise, thank you so much for participating in the live Q&A. Thank you for showing up and for being a part of today's live Q&A. Thank you to Katie and Claire for sending in your questions. Katie, good luck with the job search. Claire, let's schedule some time. Let's talk about those goals that you have, and let's talk about what will actually work for you in terms of movement so that you can get to that point of achieving your goals and taking care of your health and well-being. So with that, everybody, I hope that you will join me here on YouTube in the future. Stay tuned for those upcoming videos on burnout, what we can do to prevent it, what we can do to recover from it, and be sure to join Ignite, the VIP Facebook group for courageous and confident women soulpreneurs. I will see you soon. Stay ignited out there. I'm Heather Evans. Bye.